Hello, everyone. It is day 12 of the national self-quarantine because of the coronavirus. It's March 27th. I hope you and yours are doing well. I know it's getting more and more tiring and frustrating and perhaps even depressing for some as we move along for this period of self-isolation, but just keep hanging in there. That's what we've got to do. And we know that God is in control and everything will work out according to His will and His plan. The fact that we are all locked in and our world's kind of come to a standstill to a certain extent doesn't change the fact that life does go on. It certainly goes on biologically. Just look at my hair. 12 days ago, it was considerably shorter than it is now. And if this goes on a whole lot longer, you're going to see some really interesting stuff happen on the screen. I hope I can see the music when I'm reading it. But anyway, I hope that you and yours are doing well. Last Sunday, it was, I guess it was a joy. It was certainly very, very interesting and encouraging to watch services online, to experience worship via live stream rather than being with fellow Christians in a place, in the gathering of the church. But there was a gathering of sorts online, and it was a wonderful experience. And so we, like I said, we went to 6 different worship venues, and it was online. To experience worship all across the country. One of the services that was particularly interesting and inspiring to us was the Elevation Church in Charlotte, North Carolina, where Stephen Furtick is pastor. And one of the things that Furtick said in his message Sunday really spoke to my heart. It was, I don't think he intended it to be something profound, but it just, something about that particular idea just really penetrated me. And that was that a lot of people say that we're all in this boat together. We're all experiencing the same thing. Well, the umbrella of the crisis we're all experiencing, we're all under that. But every household is different. Every individual is different. And to say, to rubber stamp the situation and say everybody's going through the same thing, well, we're not. What my wife and I are experiencing is probably nothing like what you're experiencing. For those of us who are retired or empty nesters, we have to come up with things to fill the time. You may be a person who has 3 or 4 kids at home. You're working at home. Your spouse is working at home. And like one of my friends on Facebook said, every room of their home was occupied by somebody doing some kind of online activity, whether it was work, teaching, overseeing the learning process of the kids, whatever it might be. The house was full, the house was busy, no spare time really to do much of anything. You sort of catch yourself coming and going. So we're all different, and our experiences of this outbreak from around the world is as varied as it can be. But some things we do have in common, and that is, from time to time, there is time to come up with ways to encourage each other. You're not going to be in school all day long. You're not going to be working every day of the week, even from home. At least you shouldn't be. And so what do you do to fill the time? So I'm seeing all kinds of things online. It's really quite interesting. Games that people are inventing and playing with family members. In our family, we're playing games that work on FaceTime or Skype that translate in that kind of situation. Other people are who are much more adventurous and are used to doing wild and crazy things outside the home are bringing the wild and crazy in. I saw somebody that had created a major obstacle course in their apartment, and they were just doing some bizarre things. They were jumping off of fireplaces onto small trampolines and going up handrails of staircases and climbing on the ledges of their apartment and through a window and rolling on different objects to do different things and somersaulting and, it's the kind of thing that I would wind up in the hospital after 30 seconds of the activity. But these individuals thrive on that and are having a wonderful time at it. So more power to them. Just make sure you can get hold of 911 pretty quickly if necessary. So there are all kinds of things we can do. If you're more sedentary and you don't want to jump off your fireplace, you might take up adult coloring. There are all kinds of great books that provide you an outlet. Just get your colored pencils and just go at it. And the neat thing about some of these is that they're perforated and you can share them with others when you're done, or even frame them if you're really good. Mine are not worth framing, so that's not going to happen. But there are just ways to be creative. If you're artistic in any way, now's a great time to explore that. I've heard people taking up guitar or piano, online piano lessons, cooking, sewing, quilting, knitting, crocheting. I mean, there's just, a number of things. Science projects that may or may not be required, but you do them anyway. You explore, you invent things. So taking the opportunity to do that individually or together with someone, it's a great way to build camaraderie and fellowship. But there's also ministry that can be happening, even though we're secluded inside the four walls of our homes and apartments. Yesterday, I was reading in the letter of Paul to the Romans and came across a checklist of things that Paul was encouraging the people of Rome to do to give an outlet to their faith, to share the love of Jesus to other people. And one of the suggestions that he made was to be creative in your hospitality. Now, you find those words in the Message version of the scripture, but I really like that. Be creative in hospitality. And so that begs the question, how can one be creative in their hospitality? So I asked for some of my friends to just chime in and give ideas, and there were some great ones that popped up on my timeline. But of course, making phone calls to shut-ins or mowing lawns or walking dogs of people who can't do it. The idea of communicating in any number of ways, like I say, phone calls, texts, emails. Those are wonderful opportunities for us to connect. And then I would strongly encourage the old-fashioned way of connecting, and that is sitting down with a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil or a crayon, whatever, and writing a heartfelt note to someone that you're thinking about, that you're concerned about. Nothing does, in this day and age, nothing does the heart more good than to go to the mailbox, pull an envelope out, spray it now with Lysol, open it up, and find an encouraging word. Just checking in and letting someone know that you care about them and that you think about them and that you took the time to sit down, write, stamp, mail. That's a great gesture of hospitality, even though you can't physically go and sit in their living room and visit them. And it's so important that we stay connected with those that we love and maybe those that we don't love. Because Paul also said in that letter of Romans to feed your enemy. Wow. Take time to reach out to someone that you may disagree with or you may have conflicts with at one point or another, and say, let's put that behind us, and let me buy you a cup of coffee or order one for you, or a meal. We may not be able to sit down face to face and share a meal together, but I care about you. I want you to know that I do have that concern for you, in spite of our differences of opinion about things. And this is a great time to express that. Now, above all, what we can be doing in this time is praying for each other. And I imagine that everybody watching this is probably doing that in one way or another. But lifting up those that you know are under stress or greatly fatigued because of the quarantine, or those who are lonely, elderly people who miss the human contact with their family and friends, and no one is able to come into them. And particularly those who are hospitalized, because right now, even spouses are not able to visit their loved ones. So it's a difficult, concerning time. So be praying for those people in those situations. And more than that, I suppose, or not more than that, but equal to that, excuse me, I feel like a sneeze coming on. I'll try not to sneeze on the phone here. Even more than the praying for one another's health, but we need to pray for the medical caregivers right now. In this crisis, there are people who are literally putting their lives on the line to take care of other people physically. And so all the ones operating medical equipment, providing intimate physical services to those patients who are suffering from coronavirus, it's a scary situation for them. And we need to be praying for them, pray for their courage, pray for their health, pray for their protection, that God will give them courage and help them through this tough, challenging time. So, the piece I'm going to play today is a setting I wrote a few years back of Malotte's The Lord's Prayer. I feel like that's appropriate as we focus on praying for each other, pray for our nation, pray for the world, pray for the caregivers, the healthcare professionals, and then those who are providing regular provisions, the responders, fire people, the police. It's such a challenging time, so just lifting them all up in prayer. So as you listen, I just pray that you'll be encouraged to make prayer a vital part of your day, even though it may not be something you do all that frequently. Make it a habit and be praying for all of these needs. pray for one another. Be creative in hospitality. God bless you. See you tomorrow.